Within Photoshop, there are 31 blend modes are available, many of which left untouched for our everyday applications. However, each of these blend mode has a unique purpose, catering to various use cases and scenarios. I'm going to explain the first 12 blend modes. There is a reason behind it. I'll explain it later. Let's get into it. So I have this landscape image as a reference, which has too much highlights and midtones and shadows. I was trying out ways to explain the blend modes without using this gray chart, but unfortunately I cannot do that. Using of this gray chart makes it easier makes it easier to explain blend modes, so I created that. And also I have a brightness values of this gray chart: 0, 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. Before we get into blend modes, there is something we need to understand. There are two types of color. One is base color and the other one is blend color. Base color is the original image which contains the original colors. Blend color is the layer which we apply the blend modes to. So like this, dissolve, darken, multiply, like that. That is blend color. So we need to first understand this. So the first blend mode, which is normal blend mode, which is the default blend mode in the Photoshop. So what it does is, whatever the layer is on top, it will show that. If I turn on this layer, it will show the base color. If I turn on, it will show the gray chart. If I turn on this, it will show these. Whatever visible at the top, it will be shown. Second one is dissolve blend mode. It is very similar to the normal blend mode unless there are transparent pixels in the top layer. So transparent pixels in the sense, if I adjust the opacity of the blend color, what opacity does is it creates transparent pixels in the blend color. So whatever the layer you've chosen, it will create a transparent pixels. So if I reduce the opacity, you can see what happens in the screen. Now the opacity at 50%. So 50% of this gray chart is transparent and remaining 50% is visible. What dissolve blend mode does is it replaces the transparent pixels with random colors from both the blend color layer and the base color layer. The results look like this, like pixels are dispersed throughout the canvas. The next one is darken blend mode. Photoshop has categorized these blend modes. So first one is normal blend modes. Both normal and dissolve comes in normal blend mode category. Second 5 of them here: darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, those are darkening blend modes. The third category is lightening blend modes. These are darkening blend modes, these are lightening blend modes. First, we will check out one by one. The first one is darken. So what darken blend mode does is it analyzes the color channel from both the layers, that is the base layer and the blend layer, and shows us the darker parts of the both the images. So whatever is darker, it will be shown. That's what's happening here. So here it's completely black. Nothing is darker than black, hence the black color is shown. So here it is 25% gray. The parts that are darker than 25% gray, those are the mountain shadows. Those are shown, and the parts that are lighter than 25% gray are not shown. The only gray color is shown, and similarly 50% and 75%. The white does not work on the darkening blend modes. Any of the darkening blend modes, if you blend it with white, it does not work. So let me show you an example. Create a new layer. I'll just select some random color, create another layer. I'll take a brush and I'll paint with it. Now I've given darken. In both this layer 1 and layer 2, whichever is darker, that is shown here. If I paint white on the blend color, it will not show. See, even then I painted white here, it will not show in the darken blend mode. If I paint black, black will be shown. So this is the working of darken blend mode. So the next blend mode we are going to see is lighten. Why I am showing lighten instead of multiply is, lighten is directly opposite to darken. What lightening blend mode does is it shows whichever parts are brighter from both the blend layer and the base layer. It is the exact opposite of darken layer. So if I explain like this, it will be easy to understand. So here you can see in darken blend mode, white does not work. Similarly, in lighten blend mode, black does not work. If you see that, see the black does not affect anything. Other than that, whatever parts are brighter from both the layers, those parts are shown here. So the next blend mode is multiply. Most used blend mode is multiply. What multiply blend mode does is it takes the color from the blend layer and multiplies it with the base layer. The results are always darker. So that's what it happened here. So as usual, the darken blend modes does not work with white blend. So the white does not do anything. 75% gray has been multiplied with the base color and the results is here. Similarly 50, 25 and 0. So whatever multiply with 0, it results in 0, which is black. So I'll create a new adjustment layer. I'll paint it with this color and I'll create another layer. I'll pick some other color, paint on it. Now I change this to multiply color. See, the results are always darker. The blend color, that is the layer 2, is multiplied with the layer 1, that is the base color, and it shows the result. So the result is always darker. If I turn on the layer 1, if you can see the changes. I'll show another real life example. I'll just copy this base color, turn on both of this. I'll change the base color copy to multiply. You can see it darkens the image. So what multiply does is it multiplies both the layers color and the results are always darker. It is the most used blend mode in Photoshop. So what is the opposite of multiply? It's the screen. If you go into screen, it's the exact opposite. It multiplies the color. It multiplies the inverse of the base color and the blend color, and the results are always brighter. So similarly, as white does not work with the darkening blend modes, black does not work with the brightening blend modes. Here, if I turn on the gray chart, you might see there are no difference in this area because it's black, but there are some difference in the 25% gray, 50% gray and 75% gray and 100% white. There is nothing brighter than 100% white, so it's pure white. So this is how the screen blend mode works. Okay, so the next blend mode is color burn. It's the first of the 8 special blend modes. What is this 8 special blend modes? I'll make a separate video for this 8 special blend modes. What color burn blend mode does is, it gives results that are always darker than the multiply blend mode. Why? Because it creates a contrast between, not create, it increases the contrast between the base color layer and the blend color layer. It analyzes the colors from both the layers and it increases the contrast between both the colors. So hence the results are always saturated in the midtones and shadows crushed and the highlights are muted. Similarly, the opposite of color burn is what? Dodge and burn. Dodge means brightening, burn means darkening. So now we have seen color burn. The next one is color dodge, which is from brightening category. So it's the opposite for a reason. It does the same thing. It takes the color from the base layer and the blend layer and decreases the contrast, which always results in brighter color. So if I make a copy of this base layer and turn off the chart and I'll put it in color dodge, you can see it increases the saturation in the midtones and blows out the shadows are actually a little bit brighter than the usual. That's what color dodge blend modes do. Next blend mode is linear burn. This is also similar to dodge and burn. What linear burn does is, I'll turn on the gray chart and I'll select it, linear burn. So linear burn also gives results which are darker than multiply by decreasing the brightness of the base layer, which also results in shadows crushed, highlights muted. Similarly, here also white blend mode does not work. I'll change this. So this is the linear burn. We will see the difference between the multiply and linear burn. Create another copy to make a comparison with color dodge. So I'll put this in color dodge. So color burn. Sorry. So what color burn does is, it increases the contrast between both the layers, that is the base layer and the blend layer. What linear burn does is, it reduces the brightness of the base color to reflect the blend color. So this is also darkens the image and crushes the shadows and highlights are muted way down. Similarly, the opposite of linear burn is linear dodge. Instead of reducing the base color's brightness, it increases the base color's brightness so that the image looks brighter. As usual, black does not blend on linear dodge. All the brightening blend modes, black does not work. So this is the result. The midtones are saturated and the highlights are completely blown. The rest of the image is brightened up. Next blend mode is darker color. Darken and darker color are very similar. What darker color blend mode does is, it analyzes both the blend color and the base color layers. It shows us only the lower value of both the layers. Lower value in the sense brightness value. So I'll show an example. So I'll create a layer. Set 60% brightness. I'm going to fill that up with this layer and I'll create another layer. So now I change the blend mode to darker color. It does not change any color. which the darken blend mode does. Darken blend mode does change the color in the process of blending, but in darker color, it does not change the color. Even if you turn it off, it is similar because it analyzes both the blend layer and the base layer and shows us only the lowest value. So the lowest value is 36. If I pick this color, it's 60. The layer 1 is 60. So let's check the value. So the value is 229, 72, 36. Even if I turn off this, the value will be same. I'll select this 229, 72, 36. I'll just switch it to normal. Now I'll select this color. It's the same 229, 72, 36. This is the purpose of the darker color. It analyzes both the base color layer and the blend color layer and shows us the lowest value of each of the layer. So whichever is the lowest value, it will show it. So if I put this, this is the same image. If I put this in darker color, it does nothing. You can see I'm turning this off, on and off, because the values in both the layers are similar. So that's why it does nothing. Difference between darken and darker color is darken blend mode tend to change the colors during the blending process. In darker color, it does not change the colors. So now opposite of the darker color is what? The lighter color. It shows us the only highest values, highest brightness values. I'll show it here again. I'll put this one in lighter color. This blue circle is darker than the green, hence it's not showing. So now if I paint it with something light, like light red, it will show, because this light red is brighter than this green. So that's what it shows up. So these 5 darkening layers are exactly opposite to these 5 brightening layers. Did I say layers? No. These 5 darkening blend modes are exactly opposite to these 5 brightening blend modes. So the rest of the blend modes, I will explain it in the part 2 of this video. So for now, I'm going to leave. Thank you.